The map is Belshir Vestige. Protoss versus Protoss. Our first Protoss to the bottom right. In the red, his ideas.
Creator Prime.
WCS Korea champion, beating so many Protosses, in fact, to win that tournament.
It was just such a sick PvP tournament that we had back in August last year. But to the top left, we have an MVP player now. We have the Protoss in blue. He is
MVP Killer.
Killer is just a player who's well known, but has not been doing as well as Creator overall consistently over the past year.
The thing with Killer always is that he is very, very strong in general, like as a person, as a personality, and he improved team spirit apparently in Team MVP quite a lot. So he's quite the character. And the funny thing is that even though he's now on Team MVP, he actually is, I think, still using the Twitter ID complexity, well, COL_killer. He hasn't been really using it a lot since December, so I'm not quite sure if he's still active on Twitter.
Yeah, he may have a new Twitter account as well that we haven't found yet.
It's not listed anywhere, so I'm not quite sure what happened there. But the one thing that we want to point out again, Creator, we mentioned him earlier, he's a genius when it comes down to build orders. Make sure you add him on Twitter. His ID is @CreatorPrime.
Yep. And if you guys want, you can follow GOMTV, get updates about this tournament, and the two of us, GSL casters at Calder and at ProxyWolf. Well, so far, pretty big difference in builds. Creator has not taken a second gas yet. It's very late. And I wonder what he's going to actually do. Now he takes it. But still, this is not normal to see a gas number 2 this late, so he's going to have a lot of extra minerals.
Builds that we had for Creator in the past involved a bit of a faster gas, and he went into a double sentry. That's what he really loved to do. And from a double sentry opening, going either into an expand or then into a Stargate tag, which he really likes in this matchup. What we have now for Killer is once again a bit more of a cheeky play. A pile at the bottom right is very early in the game.
Killer does not disappoint.
Yeah.
I think he may try to hide his Twilight Council there. It's possible we see Stargate, or maybe even a little bit of robotics play there. He could go for a 4-gate with the Robo. There's the robotics now. In PvP, a long time ago, people went for immortal pushes like this, but I don't think that, I mean, it's weird to see Killer do a build like the 4-gate off of this.
But I still feel it's like the build that you have to pull off these days if you go for that.
He's chrono boosting his Cybernetics core, but the thing is, it's not very far ahead of Creators.
Yeah, it's true. The thing is that Creator doesn't really know what's going on. He has no information. And so far... Oh, and wow. I say it and the probe moves in. Creator's spider senses are tingling. He actually cancels the pylon. He tried to build a pylon here to scout things like this, and he sees immediately what's going on, so now he knows, oh wow, that was exactly what he needed to know here.
Still, he's making a sentry right now, which is not very useful against this. He needs to cancel that, I feel. He needs to have Stalkers ready to defend, and even if he does, this is going to be hard. Oh, with these 3 Stalkers coming out. Oh man, I'm not sure if Killer can actually hold the Warp Prism against 3 Stalker pressure like this. I don't think he can.
I don't think he can either.
He doesn't have a probe to make a new pylon.
And it's also, he's going to lose those units here either way, you know?
Well, he could lift him up and drop him into the main. That's his only hope. That's the only way he gets out of this okay.
Yeah, but can he really pull that off? I mean, the Warp Prism is out now, and Killer just completed those gateways. We have Creator with additional ones too, but can Killer really make this work?
Well, Creator is going home with those Stalkers. This is kind of an ironic twist here. Gonna pick up that Zealot, needs to go into the main ASAP.
He tries to snipe the Warp Prism as fast as he can. He just needs to leave the sentry at the front so that he can at least drop down a force field.
Here comes the Observer. He sees the Stalkers, he knows where they're hiding. And I feel at this point Killer needs to diversify his strategy. This is not going to work.
Creator knows what's going on. Here comes the Nexus for Killer. He knows that this 4-gate is not going to work anymore.
Yeah, this is smart. This is something that Creator needs to go and scout as soon as possible. Creator gets a robotic support bay, which I feel is the smartest possible choice any person any logical person would make in this situation, because if there's a risky Nexus, you can find it, and once you scout it, you move out and kill it. If there's not a Nexus and he's trying to stay one base against your one base, you have the best PvP one base with Colossi.
There comes the Warp Prism, and right now Creator has to realize that Killer is basically just teasing him.
Yeah.
I mean, no Protoss player who really tried to drop would just show the drop several times to the Stalkers, even though he knows them, and fly in a little bit more just to be like, hey, here I am, leave the Stalkers there, please. And now Creator is moving out.
Yeah. Creator is moving out. He wants to scout. Can he find the Nexus? Killer right now is making Immortals off of that Robo desperately.
A probe to the top left, so he will definitely find out what's going on here. If we just look at the Harvest account, we are 25 to 27 in favor of Killer, who has to saturate 2 bases very soon, of course. But the tech is so much better for Creator. I mean, the first Colossus is being built here.
And Creator's going to go kill that Robo right now. And even if Killer wants to start a Robo Bay before it's dead, he could do that. That's not going to be very helpful, though, without the robotics, though, is it? And he loses power.
Make sure that there's no warp in or anything like it. Now the Robo is being taken out. But can Killer get into a good position? The first Colossus is nearly there. The big issue really becomes the tech advantage of Creator. Yeah. It is insane.
As long as he micros his Colossus well, he should be fine. Immortal count is in Killer's favor, though. That's something to consider. So he is going to, if he gets some good hits off on those Colossi, have a possibility to make this work. This is not over by any means yet. He also has a lot of extra minerals coming through from that Nexus right now.
There comes the Colossus. No range.
So careful with that rangeless Colossus. You're so right. With no range, this is going to be a very difficult fight. Creator needs to micro it back. Good force fields here. The Colossus gets targeted and he needs to pull that back.
He pulls us back just in time. Here comes the Warp Prism trying to hunt down the Colossus, and he's able to pull it off.
Gets it. Does he pick up the Immortal? No.
Creator kills too much. Creator just kills way too much.
Yeah, and he loses the Warp Prism. Creator crushes the push. Scary situation there with his Colossus. Now he has the forward warp in, and Killer will not be able to hold his base anymore.
Yeah, Killer did that well. He really used the Warp Prism as well as he possibly could, but he lost too much in the process. He took down the one Colossus, but in the process he lost most of the rest of his army. Now he's down to 36 supply against 62. This looks like it's going to be game.
Yeah, I think so. Zealot's tanking some shots here. Now Creator has his own Immortal in the mix.
Creator
targets. He has way more army supply. The Nexus will not hold here.
Creator is thirsty for blood now. He wants to have this win. He wants to get farther ahead in this group. He wants to open the door to Kodas, and that's exactly what he's going to do here. Killer is in trouble. He's pulling his probes, and this is a sure sign that he's desperate.
Yeah, he is desperate. He's going to find himself 0-2 after this match. Not a situation you want to be in. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Ryung finds himself there now.
Yeah, Killer cannot hold this Nexus. There's just no way. And as soon as the Colossus arrives at the top left, even Force Fields will not be able to hold that ramp anymore.
Yeah. And I don't think Killer will even make a sentry because he doesn't have the gas. And if he did, he would want to use it on other units.
Exactly. He knows that a sentry is not going to save him here. He's trying to move in with what he has, but this is not enough.
GG. And Creator taking a pretty significant lead in this group, making it look easy so far. Both games he played were pretty one-sided.
Creator pretty happy here. Very dominant performance so far in this up and down group. Killer now in trouble on the same score as Ryung. Both of them are 0-2 in the group. Really well played here by Creator. That was a strong game, and Killer trying to be cheeky once again, but both times it got scouted and it didn't work.
You feel like Killer is only doing all-ins these days?
He's a little bit gimmicky, at least in the games that we've seen so far. That's definitely
in Heart of the Swarm, when he played in GSTL, he did lose to Swarm Host, but that was the last game I've seen from him where he tried to take a third. Like he did a expand with his Void Rays, and he did an older build like Wings of Liberty style with the Mothership Core. I feel like Heart of the Swarm may be what he's focusing on entirely here, and he's just saying, you know what, I'm having a rough time in Wings of Liberty. I'm just going to play the up and downs. I'm going to do all-ins. If it's over and I go into Code A, I start Code A fresh with Heart of the Swarm, which I've been practicing more. Maybe that's what he's thinking here.
I mean, we can only speculate, but that could also be the case. These strategies, you know, the thing is, if Creator doesn't scout it, he's most likely going to lose the game.
He would have actually died if he didn't see that because he was making sentries. He was not going to be prepared.
Exactly. So the scout was the most important part. If the scout doesn't happen, then Killer looks like a genius and is like, yep, this is exactly the strategy. Analyze the style, whatever, goes in, takes it. But as it is, Creator just a little bit too smart with the information that he has. He's like, well, something's happening here. Scouts sees it, and then the game takes a different course. So Creator with the two wins and not a single loss. Killer is now down 0-2, but we have another game coming up before we are heading into another break. Now we have
Shine versus Center, man.
Exactly.
This is going to take place on Cloud Kingdom. This is another one of those maps that the players are so evenly matched on, I feel. You know, Shine is looking better and better these days, but so is Center. Neither of these guys have had their moment to shine, no pun intended, in the individual league yet, where people are talking about them like they are the new big thing. But I feel both of them are on the cusp. Center improved out of nowhere suddenly from being someone who never came out for TSL on the bench. Now he's joined Quantic after the disbanding of his team. Shine, on the other hand, just qualified. He's a totally new player as far as the GSL goes, and both of these guys are making a name for themselves, but I just don't feel like either of them are heavy hitters in the group. They're just non-creators.
I have to say that I personally would say Shine is going to take this. Sorry, not Shine. The Center is going to take this. Shine played really well in his Code A matches against Fantasy, which was a tough opponent to face. So that's one thing that works in his favor. But Shine Center had so many good Zerg players to train with. But we'll talk about this in just a few seconds. Let's jump into the game at the GSL Up and Downs Group B with Color and Wolf.